Exercise 42, question 2. Again, that's a required question for the BTEC course, so I'm going to look at one that's very similar. Then you can try the one in the textbook. This one, the quadratic equations like this are relatively straightforward to solve. In fact, quite straightforward to solve. There's no x term in here, so we can almost treat it exactly like an ordinary equation. If I want to get x on its own, I would add 25 to both sides. So x squared equals 25. So this time we don't make the right-hand side 0. We've got x squared equals 25. So now we find the square root of both sides. We square root the x squared, and that gives us x. And then we square root 25. So x is the square root of 25. The square root of 25 is 5. 5 5s are 25. However, we have to beware. You remember we know that quadratic equations have two solutions. So in this particular case, if I square 5, I'll get 25. But also, if I square negative 5, I will get 25, because negative 5 times negative 5 also gives 25. So when we solve, we have to say that x can equal plus or minus 5, and that symbolism is the way to show it. X equals plus or minus 5. So we have the two solutions. If I plot this onto autograph, I can see the two solutions. There's no way of doing it. I've got, remember, I want to solve x squared minus 25 equals 0. Well, if I plot x squared minus 25 equals y on some graph plotting software like Autograph, then I'm looking for values when y equals 0. So if you look at the graph here, and I've plotted it on Autograph and put it into these notes, when y equals 0 is this line here. So we're after points at which the curve cuts the x-axis, in other words, and you can see that it cuts at minus 5 and plus 5. So the solutions are minus 5 and plus 5. And looking at the shape of the curve, I think you can see why it is that there are two possible solutions